Welcome to Channel AMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested in migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once about all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Today's video, we will update you with the new, I think there's a relaxation or exemptions, well, not really exemption, they're just making it more easier, shall I say, for the religious visa. Now, it's not a very commonly used visa, but it does enhance the communities of Australia of all kinds of different religions practice. So let's have a look. It was actually announced last week. We did not have enough time to actually cover this because they were just, I don't know, the government of Australia just want to squeeze everything right before Christmas. Now, that's what a lot of people hate. However, we will like to continue to update all the information for you. So we'll make a specific video for every sector and every differences of visa. So you really need to subscribe and share with your mates. All right, let's jump in there to have a look at the detail there. So you may want to Google yourself and you should be able to find yourself on this page. As you see, it was updated last week, 13th of December, with the improved visa framework for religious workers. So they are looking to cover the visa now covers more of religious working type of staffs and things like that. So previously was really restricted, and because the a lot of threshold has been set, now they have put, I can't say a lot of relaxation, but a little bit of relaxation just to allow more religious practice and experience religious practice professionals, should I say, to actually come to Australia. Now, obviously, you don't want to abuse this visa as well. So on the 30th of December, the Minister of Religion Labour Agreement has actually been updated. Not much to be said here. The change in great access to visa pathway organization have underlying religious focus. So let's jump in there to actually see the actual changes there. This page is actually from this link here. So once we click on that, we jump into this page. So let's go into and check out the actual information there. So until we make system changes, the online labor agreement, well, which will be so-called essential stream, but until they changes, but they will be, I think, will be almost identical because they have changed. They have to update the core skills and the specialist stream, but the labor agreement hasn't really been updated yet. So okay, now if you are looking to be sponsored as a religious worker, that including the Minister of Religions or in the religious assistants. So we will cover that later. As you can see down here, these are the two. So there's ends code there. Now the entity has to have Australian registered business. So that means it's lawfully registered entity in Australia. It cannot just be a vague or a group of people with no registration. You know, they cannot do that. So Australian government require them to be registered, and the only way to, it's not really a business, but that's what it's categorized as the entity for Australia. Must be a registered institution under migration regulation, must provide evidence of a charitable status. So they will usually register themselves with Australian charity organization, so they can lawfully and legally obtain donations, because usually donation is no taxation in there, and a lot of exemptions there. So they need to have that registered. Good standing, that's pretty straightforward, explanatory. Obviously not doing the extremism stuff, you know. That's things that's been going on in Melbourne recently. You know, your preaching is in the good standing. I mean, you know, beneficial for the community of Australia rather than hurting the community of Australia. Okay, labor market needs, exempt labor market. So this is exempt. So you don't need to do exempt from labor market testing because, look, it's not professional jobs and work that require extensive religious workers out there. That would be really awkward, but must still explain why the nature position required usually is you cannot get the Australian equivalent religious practice worker or assistant or minister, then you require someone to come from abroad. Reliance on overseas work will generally not assess a requirement unless there's significant concern. So unless, for example, there has been a lot of these religious practices in the region, and why would you want another one? So they would like to know why. It's not that vital there. Again, we talked about the occupation. So the minister of religion, that's basically the preacher. Okay, the guy or the lady on the stage preach every week or day, and the assistant basically will be people working surrounded. So their work is solely and focused on the religious assistant. So assistant can be anything, helping out the preachings, getting the information documents ready and things like that, and also for example, help out the temple or help out the church, helping out the cathedral, whichever that religion that is regards. It's the atmosphere, the building, constructions, things like that, and the environment, and also obviously affecting the community too. Now, there's a little bit of relaxation on the salary. So standard skill visa requirement applies subject to concession. So there's a little concession on the annual market salary. So there will be a reduced CSIT requirement. So a little bit of relaxation, but it also can include 10% of the calculating in the non-benefit, non-monetary benefits. That means it's not cash. It's not cash in the bank. It can be included with the, for example, accommodation, for example, food, and the transportation, cars. That can be included in there. So that can all be calculated within the whole income package to be for the religious workers there. Religious assistant above requirement applies to religious. However, no concession can be awarded on basis of valid poverty of service have been declared. Skills. Now, the minister of religion, that means the preacher, the main person, the main character for whichever the religious practice that's there, has to be ordained or professed, or they need to have some sort of certification. A certification usually have a guidance or rules how many years of practices, experience, and qualification required to actually gain to become the preacher. It's usually going to be like that, minimum qualification, have undertaken at least 5 years of relevant structure training, and the ordination and minimum AQF, additional skill requirements. So that's, every religion has a different way of getting trained. Role of attributed equivalent senior position. So usually will be the character or the main guy on the stage. Religious assistants normally must have relevant qualification. Usually they'll be trained anyway, because you don't just go into a church or temple or cathedral or whatever the religion then is, and you just wanted to help out. That would be a volunteer, but volunteer and assistant is really different. Volunteer probably just partially casual, but assistant is a full-time. They work for the church all the time. Those things like this. At least 2 years of relevant structured training and instruction, have worked and are nominated. So 2 years work experiences. English, there is requirements for overall for IELTS 4 only. That's really low. 4 is really, really low. It's basically overall score 4.5. That's still very low, and that can get you to a 186. That's a permanent residency. And the completion 5 years. Usually they won't, but 4 and 4.5 is usually about year 8 level English, year 7, year 8 English. So it's pretty easy to actually get that. And they have a pathway to ENS. That's a permanent residency after 2 years of practice. So, and there's no age requirement there. So that's for the religious. And there's a little bit of fact sheet there. It's basically covering most of the stuff that we have just said about the religious workers there. employer, they need to go have the Australian Charity and Non-Profit Commission. They need to be registered there, and the obligation is standard business sponsorship. So they just need to apply for business sponsorship via the immigration's structure. Visa applicant, we have just gone through that together. So a little bit of information there just to cover up for what we had missed for last week. So religious worker, a little bit more exemptions and relaxations. So here you go. Should you have more question query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.